This cow has got corkscrew claw. And that is why it is so misshapen, so turned up, so contorted and twisted. And because of all that, she'll be incredibly uncomfortable. Normally we would trim all this back. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to model all of this out and it'll give me a better understanding of the foot. So we're going to just alternate what we would normally do by trimming away this massive piece of overgrowth here. So we can just work away all the way down here and take a big chunk of it out. It'll give us much better access to everything that we need. Right, now I can trim all this nice height away here. We're going to reduce the toes all the way back to about here and reduce this height massively. If you look from here, you can see the height difference. So you are completely parallel with the base of this foot, but this one here is about ½ an inch higher. And actually, if we correct the dorsal walls at the front, it's even higher, almost an inch probably. More than an inch. Your 6 inches and my 6 inches are a totally different length though, aren't they? So we're going to work predominantly on the outer claw because clearly that is where the bulk of the material needs to be removed from. As Derek correctly pointed out, she's almost an inch overweight on this outer claw. So there is a very substantial amount of hoof horn to be removed. But luckily, this grinder makes very short work of it. We actually have to trim both of her claws though because the inner one is slightly overgrown as well. We alternate between the two and shorten the toes constantly as we go, taking a bit from here, a bit from there, and constantly reassessing the foot, getting as close to perfect as we possibly can. And then once we can do no more, we can grab the knife and do the rest. And she's got a real big lip here, so we're gonna just take that back. You've heard me say this many times before, but if you make a mistake in here, it is massively, massively detrimental to the cow. So we need to be incredibly careful. This is called the axial wall. The axial wall. Because it comes right down through the axis of the cow's foot. And then we move on to modelling her out a lot more substantially than we first did. You can see the bruising in there actually. This will really help to prevent what happened to that first cow by way of a typical sole ulcer, and that crack is something I'm not happy with, so I'm going to get rid of that as well. If this was on the inner claw though, this crack, I might be tempted to leave it because they get far, far fewer problems on that inner claw, whereas the outer one is really, really apt to getting things going wrong with it. See how far in that crack goes. Quite surprising, isn't it? Don't think it's a real issue. I think it's just something that could potentially turn into an issue. Just going to continue this model on. I'm going to really get in there and change over to the inner claw and model it out nicely. Get rid of all these little fissures. Straggly little bits bend out of your way of your knife. That's quite high, isn't it? Right, I think we'll just get rid of this little indentation by way of reducing this slightly. I think actually these toes can be shortened slightly as well. So this is the real fine tuning, just the tiny little bits that make me a much happier hoof trimmer. Right, let's get it on the ground and see what it looks like where it matters. And that is definitely better than this. And looking from the side here, the angle of her foot is miles better than it was when we started. Right.
It's incredible to think how much more comfortable this cow will be almost instantly.